Hi, this is Gary Swain from WSGM Broadcasting, Radio on Demand. And we're here at American Fireplace in Vineland, New Jersey. What's the street address, Bob?
2535 South Delsey Drive.
And that's right across from the Armory, for those who aren't familiar with where that's located. Most people know where the Armory is in Vineland. Now, of all things in all different type of businesses, what brought you into the fireplace business?
The diversity of the projects. We work on multiple things from wood burning to gas and pellet burning. We cut marble and stone. I'm always working on something different every day. We provide a community service, and I feel fulfilled at the end of the day.
Yeah, and you know, I've had a chance to talk to you over the years, and you're a very hands-on type person, and you enjoy crafting things. And you can tell, certainly if you stop into the showroom, you're going to see some of the beautiful fireplace and mantles and illustrations of pellet burning stoves that you can pick what's going to be right for you and your family. Now, Bob, tell me a little bit about what a customer is going to experience as they walk through the door. I mean, who are they going to see when they walk in, and what will they experience as far as the treatment as a customer?
Walking through the front door at American Fireplace, you'll either see my wife, Cindy, or myself, Bob, at the counter, helping customers or assisting in any way that we possibly can.
The other question that I have is that, you know, there's a lot of Americans around, but how did you guys derive American Fireplace? I mean, how did that come into place?
My wife and I both worked at the time in other fields, and I have always worked with the fireplace industry for roughly 26 years now. Our son was over in Iraq. Well, we got the phone call. He was on his way to Iraq, and we were devastated after 9/11. We really felt strong that America should unite, and we decided our name would be American Fireplace, basically explaining that we are strong Americans and we feel strongly about that, and we choose to sell fireplaces. That's how we came up with the name.
Now, what I'm curious about, and I wanted to get into briefly, is that every year you hear about homes burning down because of fireplaces. And many times that's because a chimney wasn't kept in clean properly. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. Most homes should have their chimney cleaned and inspected once a year, but they should be checked by a trained professional, not somebody where they're just going to tack something up on a telephone pole saying chimney sweep and inspection. They should have the credentials of a trained chimney sweep, which is CSIA.
And that's a very valid point that you actually bring up.
It is very important to have it checked by a professional. Also after seismic activity, like the earthquake that we've had recently. Out in the West Coast, when they have an earthquake, that's one of the first things they get done is they check for structural defect in buildings and chimneys, because sometimes it's no longer safe to carry the flue gases, which can cause a poisonous activity in the chimney and come into the home and could cause death. So we want to make sure that everybody's burning safe, the chimney is properly cleaned, and everybody enjoys a good, safe home and family environment.
But that shouldn't only be in the case of a wood stove either. That could be an oil burner, right?
Oil burners as well. It's very important that an oil burner be cleaned out, checked by a professional, and we also recommend a chimney cap on top of the oil burner. It's a very acidic residue left from burning the oil, and a good stainless steel cap will last a long time and keep the moisture from going down the flue tile, keeping the flue tile in great shape. Otherwise, the flue tile will peel apart and you will be replacing it in years to come.
Bob, what's your full name?
Bob Marks.
Okay, and is there anybody here besides Bob that they'll see when they come through the door?
Okay. When someone comes through the door, they'll either be greeted by my wife, Cindy, or myself, Bob Marks.
Good. And, you know, when people do come through the door, what is your philosophy of doing business with them?
Treat the customer how you want to be treated. That's probably our number one philosophy. We educate everybody as well as possible if they're willing to absorb the information we give them. Everyone in our staff is well educated. My wife knows more about wood burning industry than most men. They don't give her the credit for what she obtained.
And, you know, that's another thing. And I know we're getting off the question path, but I was curious. When you're burning firewood, is there any key hints to the, I mean, can you burn everything? Firewood, pallets?
Okay.
I mean, what should people do?
The important thing is dry wood is the most important. There is such a thing as too dry of wood. That's why they try to steer you away from burning pallets. Burning pallets could have chemicals from a factory floor, which aren't very good for the environment. And they also are so dry they'll burn very hot and can damage the stove. At times, certain pieces of dried wood, like furniture-grade lumber, is not bad to burn because it's great to start your fire with it, but then ultimately you will go with solid wood like a log, oak, maple, something of that nature. As far as what types of wood are best to burn, I've been taught and trained to say free wood is the best wood to burn.
Well, no doubt about that. So then there isn't a preference like over gum or oak?
Oh, there's a wide variety. Every tree has a different type of heat output, its ease of splitting, and the final ash and coal that it has. So each species of lumber has a different heat output and all the other.
Now, is there a great range of difference between the heat output?
Tremendous range.
So if I'm too hot, I could change to a cooler burning wood?
Correct.
That's really amazing.
Or
I never knew that.
Lower the amount of air going into the stove and put less fuel into it to help lower the amount of heat output. We have a handout that we give to our customers explaining the characteristics of each tree that is grown in our area that gives you all the benefits of how well or how dissatisfied you'd be on burning that particular lumber.
And I suppose if they were to stop by here and talk to Cindy or you, Bob, you would be willing to give them that brochure if they stopped in and talked to you?
Oh, yes.
Because that'd be a valuable thing to have. That'd be kind of a nice little perk. And maybe a great way to introduce yourself to Bob and Cindy. Anyway, I'm going to get in a little bit deeper into American Fireplace and how long they've been open. How many years have you?
7.
7 years in business.
Year.
You know, as I say, you know, it speaks mounds of a business when they've been in business for 5 years. When they get in business for 7 years, it tells you that they've done a lot of people right, because that's the only way in this day and age that you can sustain business. I want to go back over once again. What are some of the types of stoves that can be seen here and you can supply people with?
Well, Napoleon is probably our number one line because it has a good quality stove and it's priced right for our area. It has a lot of benefits to it. We also sell and service Lennox country stoves, Napoleon, which I had already mentioned, Blaze King. They offer a 20-hour burn time on their small stove and a 40-hour burn time on their large stove. Timberwolf, which is an economy model of Napoleon. Osborne, which is another line from SBI that's out of Canada. They're probably our most popular pieces that we sell.
Now, looking at your floor displays, tell me a little bit about what we're seeing right in that room there that looks like a fireplace mantle. And is that an insert type burning fireplace? Or?
That is a burning display. It's a direct vent gas fireplace. Also in that room we have wood burning inserts, which get inserted into a wood burning fireplace to gain efficiency.
Okay, so you can take any old fireplace that someone has, because we know that they're very inefficient at what they do, and convert it into something that would actually be fuel efficient.
Correct. Heat producing anywhere from 1,500 square feet to 3,500 square feet, able or capable of heating that home.
Now, I've heard a lot lately about pellet stoves, but I know nothing about it. And I imagine that a lot of our listeners have heard things about pellet stoves, but what can you tell us about them? Is that something that you have here?
Pellet stoves, we sell them. We don't currently have anything on the floor with pellet. We're going to get a updated version on our floor in the near future. But pellet stoves are great for someone that doesn't have the time to feed the fuel to the fire. You can keep the heat producing in your home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just by adding a bag or two of pellets to the hopper, and it will automatically feed the pellets into the burn pot. They're normally going to heat somewhere around 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. They're very economical. You can heat an average home of 1,600 square feet for about $500 per year, per season.
That is cheap.
That is. Especially if you're using one of the other fuels on the market. Nothing negative about oil or propane, but the downside is the cost of fuel is really not regulated. You're at supply and demand, and you're got your hands in foreign oil in the pockets.
So when you use a pellet stove, does it have some kind of hopper on it that contains so many hours of possible burn? I mean, how does that get rated?
Correct. The hoppers are rated by how many pounds they'll hold. Sometimes they have extensions to hold additional pellets. A pellet stove is more green than most appliances that will be burning anything in your home. They use the sawdust, the byproducts of what people have left over as waste in the wood. It's ground down and pressed through a die, and it's created a very green type fuel that you'll be burning in your home.
I think that's neat. Now, the other thing that I just thought about is you mentioned 5 or 10 different types of manufacturers and stoves that you service here. How about parts for these stoves? Because you service them.
We sell parts. Most of the product that we sell, we stock the parts on our service truck. We service and install everything. Personally, I do our installs. So not only will you see a service person at your house, you'll see the owner, co-owner at your home. We have a lot more at stake than sending a normal employee out because this is our livelihood. We try and treat everybody, like I had mentioned before, as we're to be treated. We stock the parts. We stock some parts on other models that we don't carry. We'll attempt to repair anything out there, but sometimes some of these foreign-made pieces just can't get the parts for them other than through the manufacturer itself. So unless the homeowner has a way of getting that part, they're pretty much obsolete at that point.
Yeah. Now, something else you brought up that I just was sitting here and thinking about is that if you look at most stoves, we know that the chimney needs cleaning, and we know some of the obvious reasons that we went over today. But also that stove, should that stove be inspected by somebody certified?
Yes, most people can use it with a common eye to see if there's a crack, faulty gasket. It doesn't take a lot to know that something's going awry with your stove. Sometimes people do ask for a professional opinion, and we're happy to give it to them, or what to look for.
Now, is it common to have some smoke in the room after you get these stoves burning?
No, it's not common. If you're doing everything correct, you'll never see smoke in the home. Smoke in the home is usually contributed to wet wood, not having a properly primed chimney, which means your chimney is not warm enough and you're putting too big of wood into the appliance prior to opening that door. You need to establish a decent amount of heat before you're actually putting any big wood into that appliance.
Well, Bob, we certainly appreciate the time that you spent with us today. I want to give you an opportunity, if there's anything you'd like to say to our listening audience. You can certainly add anything I may have forgotten to ask you.
Everybody should be aware of how safe it is for your chimney to be inspected, even to clean out your dryer vents. Dryer vent fires are very common in a household because of the lint is built up in the vent itself. Everybody should have their dryer vents checked and cleaned every so often because of fires through the dryer itself. Lint gets built up in the dryer vent, and it should be cleaned out. Your dryer will perform much better. Your clothes will get drier faster because it's venting properly, and it makes the home a lot safer. It keeps fires from being in the home. Everybody should check a website, which is www.csia.org. That website is the National Chimney Sweep Guild. That'll give you not only my name, but any other professional in the business that takes it to heart to do the right thing and to do the proper job. It's very important that you have a trained professional in your home.
Well, I agree with you, Bob, because everybody needs to know their business inside and out. But it's nice to know that there's a source that you can check to know that you got a competent professional servicing you.
You can also ask them questions for what you may have going wrong in your home. There are a lot of trained professionals at the Chimney Sweep Guild. Everybody that is a certified sweep undergoes hours, on end hours of training. It's constant educational credits that we have to achieve. They want to make sure that everybody who's walking you through your house has a code of ethics that they abide by, and they're well informed, and they try to convey the proper information to teach you to do the right thing.
Well, once again, Bob, I want to thank you for opening up American Fireplace, letting us look around and see the many neat things that you have here and the different types of stoves that you supply the area with. I would recommend that everyone would come down, take a look, but even more importantly than just coming down here, come and introduce yourself. Let Bob and Cindy know what you're doing, what your needs are. Because what I've found in dealing with them is that they're very proactive for their customers to help them in any way that they can. Now, the other thing, just in closing, where are you located?
2535 South Delsey Drive, just across the street from the Armory. You can look out our front window and get a good view of a good old American Army tank.
And what is your phone number if they'd like to contact you?
Our phone number is 856-825-6008. That's American Fireplace.
You want to repeat that one more time?
Our phone number is 856-825-6008.
Now, folks, take a minute, go up on our website, print out the coupon if you need to, or call Bob and Cindy and ask them any question that you have. You have a great opportunity, and using a local business who is kind, courteous, and willing to do good work.
Here at American Fireplace, we take Visa, MasterCard, and Discover Card. We're also at 3.5% sales tax.
Once again, this is Gary Swain reporting from American Fireplace, and we're signing off for the day. This is WSGM Broadcasting, Radio on Demand, and we'll talk to you later.